Weather caused devastation in the heartland. We'll tell you what area saw more tornadoes yesterday.
And an unusual sight in one neighborhood. What happened that left these zebras running around for hours?
Plus, a beekeeper becomes a hero. We'll tell you more about the colony he removed that led to him throwing out the first pitch at a game.
WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
And you are watching Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, joined now by Tania and Lauren. And I've got to tell you, I was in Tuscaloosa today. It's hot.
It's not great.
Yeah, the sun is still out there shining. It's still hot.
And, you know, I was looking at the dew points. I'm like, those dew points must be through the roof. They're not. They're not that bad yet.
It is
wasn't that humid, though.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. So I'm like, this scares me a little bit because it's not humid and it already feels hot outside.
Right. Yeah, well, this time of year, you know, you get that more direct sunlight, and you can just really feel it on your skin right now. And it is a big change, and we're already kind of jumping into that summer pattern. And this is when we sort of have to kind of re-educate ourselves on how the summer rainfall pattern works around here, because it's so scattered, and there's going to be areas that kind of miss out on the rain. It looks like this weekend and into next week, but as we show you here, going to the next big thing, we will see a chance for some scattered thunderstorms coming back on Friday, but some of us will miss out on the rain, and that's just the way it's going to be here for the next few days. But look at live look right now, Southern Sky Aviation. I wanted to start out with Birmingham because we've had an air quality alert that's been in effect for most of the day. That's now expired, so I know that was a concern for today, but this evening we've got some pleasant weather on the way for tonight. This is a live scan of the sky on radar, and no surprises at the moment. We're still very dry, but check it out. First time I've seen this, 90 degrees showing up right now at Utah. So there's going to be some areas here again tomorrow where we're going to see those temperatures closer to 90 degrees. But it's happening again. I mean, what a severe weather season out here for folks we mentioned the heartland, middle part of the country. Today it's near Amarillo, Texas, but I noticed earlier there were confirmed tornado warnings out here. A lot of severe weather happening south of Dallas. So if you have connections in this part of the country, you'll certainly want to check in on folks here because they are dealing with it today. A lot of severe thunderstorm warnings, and these are all what you're looking at here are tornado reports and damaging wind gusts and large hail reports, and you can see where that expands today back in areas to the north. But it's been round after round, as we've been talking about, happening there. Now all that severe weather is going to stay well west of us tomorrow. Big story tomorrow, again, next big thing for us is going to be the hot conditions, again close to 90 for afternoon highs. But tomorrow the temperatures there, this is a look at through 2 o'clock. You can see we don't really see a chance for wet weather there through most of the day, but I think once we get into the late afternoon there might be an isolated shower. The good news is in the morning it does look like we'll have a breeze out of the southeast, so that should help us out with those comfort levels. Winds that breeze at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. But notice as we bring in the rain chances, there's no particular area that just stands out here. I think especially to the west we might see a couple isolated showers, but there's some indications we could even see a stray shower later in the day across East Alabama. So rain chances, not a lot. I'd certainly plan to water tomorrow the garden. Friday, though, we'll start to see a better coverage, but we'll talk more about the weekend. I'll be back with the full 7-day forecast.
Thanks, Wes. And more storms caused even more damage in Kansas yesterday. A tornado that went through the town of Westmoreland, that's in the northeastern part of the state, killed 1 person and destroyed 22 homes. 3 people had to go to the hospital with injuries, and county officials say the community has rallied together to take in those who lost their homes, and the Red Cross has opened a shelter as well. And an Iowa family is still cleaning up after tornadoes tore through their home on Friday. Their shed is now completely gone, but thankfully all 5 of their dogs inside the shed got out alive. Ophelia Jacobson reports.
Cleaning up after Friday's storm is a family affair at the Shabins. Luckily, they don't have to do it alone.
This community we have is unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
Bryce Shabin says neighbors, friends, families, and even strangers showed up at their home to help.
A lot of water damage because the roof got blown off, shingles got blown off. The porch we should be sitting under is gone.
This shed was completely destroyed by the storm, but it was what was staying inside of these kennels that worried them the most.
It scared me. It scared me a lot because these guys, means so much to us.
Carrie and Bryce have been breeding Hungarian Wislas for decades. 5 of their dogs were in this shed when the storm came through.
This wall just went flop right on top of my kennels and pinned 2 of the dogs.
The 2 dogs, Junie and Bobby, were nowhere to be found. Carrie assumed the worst.
Oh, there was a lot of tears. Yeah, it still is hard to talk about because it's pretty fresh.
But the Shabans say what happened next is nothing short of a miracle. They found Junie first.
And we got the saws all down in there and cut the kennel and got her out.
And then Bobby.
They got a jack out and lifted the building up just a little bit off of her.
The dogs have a couple of stitches and bruises from the close call, but that isn't stopping them from running around the yard again. The family has also received donations of dog food and treats to help with recovery.
So I want to rebuild immediately and get my dogs back in there.
The family is making do with what they still have and counting their blessings that everybody,
They're our kids.
made it out alive.
It would have broke our hearts pretty severely.
Prayers were answered that night.
Well, right now we have the weather extra on what's happening around the world, and look at all this flooding still causing some major problems there in Kenya. We're talking about the more primary highways in the country's capital of Nairobi. They're shut down because of the heavy rain, landslides and floods. Nearly 200 people have died, sadly, because of that rain. Rescue operations for nearly 80 people are underway after a river broke through a tunnel, wiping out houses and roads along the way. And a team of researchers say they may have figured out where an asteroid traveling near Earth came from. Astronomers in Hawaii discovered the asteroid in 2016. It comes within, well, just 9 million miles of Earth during its orbit and is estimated to be a few million years old. Researchers say the asteroid likely came from a crater on the far side of the moon. Sounds like a Pink Floyd song.
Wes. Well, speaking of space, let's come right back down to Earth here on the surface. We know today is the first day of May, and you may be thinking, is there some significance to that? Well, we're a month out from hurricane season beginning, so we want to give you a forecast of what we are looking towards as we go into the month of June, when that kicks off on June 1st. So Colorado State, which they have a whole team of tropical researchers on staff there, they released their forecast about a month ago in April of what they're expecting for this year, and they are calling for an above average hurricane season. On average, you get 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. Major hurricanes means category 3 or higher, but this is what they're calling for this season: 23 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes, which does mean that forecast is above average. So we are going to be seeing likely a very active season. Now, the peak of hurricane season is historically late August into early September. So oftentimes June and July can be fairly quiet. But if it's an active season, we don't want to let our guard down. And one reason why is because La Nina is going to be going into effect soon. When you have La Nina, it's a teleconnection. That means what happens in the ocean in one part of the world can impact the ocean in a different part of the world. And what happens is you have strong trade winds off of the west coast of South America. And this allows cooler water to come up from the surface. It's called upwelling. It comes up from the surface or the bottom of the ocean to the surface, and that causes cooler water to be at the surface. That cooler water allows temperatures to be warmer in parts of the Atlantic and the Caribbean, and it contributes to less wind shear in the atmosphere. When you have low wind shear, that encourages hurricane formation. Hurricanes don't like high wind shear because when you have a lot of wind shear, that's the difference between wind speed or direction with height. As you go up in the atmosphere, that can prevent storms from organizing, and it can cause them to weaken. And another thing we want to watch out for, not just the possibility of less wind shear, but very warm waters. We have already been seeing anomalously warm waters in the Atlantic, so it's certainly something to keep an eye on as we get into the summer season. Well, in 30 seconds, we're going to take a quick check on our forecast here at home, and of course some zebras, why not, that broke loose in Washington state last night. We'll be right back.
Well, time for a first alert update on our weekend forecast. You already making those plans for Saturday. Well, it's not a total washout, but there could be some scattered showers and thunderstorms. 83 degrees on Sunday. We also have an equal rain chance, but as Tania and Lauren were talking about earlier, we were seeing the possibility there Sunday it might trend a little bit drier there during the day. That's why I went a little bit higher with those temperatures up to 85 degrees. But again, not a washout this weekend, but we've certainly heard that tune before, right? Scattered thunderstorms. So just check the weather app and keep an eye to the sky because we could have a few lightning producers out there throughout the weekend. But also keeping an eye to the sky, some junior weather watchers. We had a group of students visit the station today here on Red Mountain, and these are the third graders from Shades Mountain Elementary School in Hoover. They had a special behind the scenes tour of our newsroom and studio and our First Alert Weather Center. So great having them visit today, and thankfully nice weather for a weather visit.
Absolutely, Wes, but get this, here's a wild story. People in one Washington state neighborhood going about their day just as normal when they see some wild zebras running around. Take a look at this. This is video of the zebras in one woman's backyard. The owner of the zebras were using a travel trailer to take them to an animal sanctuary. She pulled over to check on the trailers, and that's when the zebras got out. They said, listen, you're not taking us with you right now. We're gone. One woman says she got face to face with the wild animals.
They looked right at me, and I mean, I was like, okay, I don't make noise. I think I gotta be quiet. No, you learn with a bear, you make a lot of noise. You gotta make yourself big. And I'm like, with zebras, no one's taught me what to do when you're approached by zebras.
Three of the zebras were gathered up at the private horse farm thanks to the help of a rodeo wrangler. The four zebras are all doing okay, Lauren.
Man, good they had a rodeo wrangler. Well, back here in the southeast, a wild monkey was spotted roaming around central Florida. Floridians are obviously no stranger to wild encounters. I mean, they've got the swamp down there, but this wild monkey sighting is certainly rare. It was spotted behind a high school in Groveland. An animal expert believes the monkey is a rhesus macaque, a breed brought to Florida in the 1930s to be used as a tourist attraction. Anyone who spots a wild monkey is encouraged to keep a safe distance and report it to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. And we've covered the mammal stories, but we need to meet our insect quota for the day. The start of a baseball game between the Diamondbacks and Dodgers was delayed for nearly 2 hours yesterday after a swarm of honeybees settled on top of a net behind home plate. A beekeeper had to come in and remove the bees, but hey, that beekeeper took advantage of the situation, got to throw out the first pitch before the game started. And we'll be right back with more Weather Extra. We take a look at this weekend's forecast, and Tania takes us beyond the 7-day. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Weather Extra. Today is the first day of May and it already feels a little bit like summer outside. But could we get some more beneficial spring showers before the season comes to a close? Meteorologist Matt Dano and Mickey Ferguson tell us more.
Well, the times and the seasons, they are a changing, Matt.
It's May.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, we got one more month of meteorological spring.
Yeah, big
and it's
words.
summer. It's summertime, pretty much.
That's big words.
It is.
So, summer is next on our Alabama seasonal calendar. Dun, da, da, da.
So this is made up, by the way.
Yeah.
But we're kind of like in between that unusually warm, humidity starts to show up.
Like this weekend.
So yeah, we're starting to see that. So let's talk about May and let's talk about the sunrise, sunset times. Of course, this evening, the sun sets at 7:30. And as we get those daylight, gets a little bit longer as we're approaching that summer solstice. Notice 7:52 on June 1st, 8 o'clock, a little after 8 on July 1st.
Crazy, man. Just some long, long days. And sunrise times tomorrow, 5:57, June 1st, 5:38, and July 1st, 5:41.
Ah, so it's starting
Days will
go
start
back.
to get, after the summer solstice, it starts to get a little shorter those days.
Yeah, so today we've had 13 hours and 32 minutes of daylight.
But who's counting? Oh, we are.
I am.
Okay.
Apparently with this graphic. June 1st, 14 hours and 14 minutes of daylight.
Yeah, buddy.
But look what happens. Of course, after that summer solstice, we start seeing less daylight. So know this, by October 1st, just 11 hours and 49 minutes of daylight.
I've seen a lot of boats in the ocean named Solstice. The people just love the longest day of the year, the longest period of daylight for the year.
Yep.
Now, we're right here with our average high temperatures at 82 degrees, but we get into June, July, and August, that's when it really cranks up.
Yeah, so if you like the heat, it's coming, and it's going to stay with us for a while. Low temperatures are also going to start to trend a little bit warmer. So last month, the average low was about 52. Now, normally in May, we'll see those low temperatures in the lower 60s. So, yep.
Starting to get warmer and warmer and warmer. Monthly average rainfall, you know, we're a little bit down for the month so far, but typically we get almost 5 inches of rain, just shy of that at 4.91.
Yeah, so how much rain did we receive this past month? Well, not a lot. In fact, a lot of us only recorded about half of what we should be seeing.
But we got time to make up for it, okay?
Let's hope so, because don't want to stay dry to May and then it's summertime and that could cause some drought concerns. So hopefully we'll get some much needed rain going into the weekend and early next week.
You are a part of precipitation. Didn't Janet Jackson sing a part about that? I don't know. Okay, well, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Live look from Shelby County right now at the University of Montevallo, where it is 84 degrees. It feels hot out there, but as Lauren noted earlier, notice the dew point showing 53 right now. And typically when you see those values in the 60s this time of the year, that's when it starts to really feel soupy out there. But it's just felt hot. That sun is becoming more direct this time of the year, and that's also a factor. But once we, as we get closer to sunset time here, it's going to feel increasingly more pleasant there for this evening. 83 right now, live look from Gardendale, and a live look from Coldwater Mountain down over Oxford. Right now we're at 86 degrees, and we also have a northeast wind here in the Anniston area, so that's helping us out also with those comfort levels across East Alabama. But let's take it on into the evening, and the news is we stay dry, so if you need to water, you'll want to do so this evening. As you can see, no rain showing up in the sky, clearing out. Tomorrow morning we start out in the morning with temperatures close to 60 degrees, winds out of the east-southeast at 4 to 8 miles per hour. But as we heat up tomorrow, again, we'll have similar temperatures, mid to upper 80s. There's a chance that we could see an isolated shower or even an isolated storm to the west going into tomorrow night. See how some of this wet weather from the west tries to work into the state. What's left of that, some of that rain may be around Friday morning. It's not an all-night washout, but again, some scattered development. That's why we put a 20 to 30% chance in the forecast. I think the greatest chance areas to the north and west, at least through Friday morning. And then once we get into the day Friday, start to heat up. Notice we could see some more development out there, but it will come back later in the day going into Friday evening. That's why we have that 40% chance for showers on Friday. But you kind of get the picture. Friday, not a total washout. Still some, if you're trying to wrap up a big job, looks like Friday there will be some nice breaks during the day. And temperatures once again topping out in the 80s. Certainly some more clouds in the mix there on Friday. This is from the American model, some of the global data going into this weekend. And when you get into this summer-like setup, it's really not just a clear-cut front that's going to move through and then the rain's over. It's kind of what we're looking at is just the coverage of scattered rainfall that we're going to be dealing with. We'll see some pop-up showers Saturday. It looks like that chance for a few pop-up showers. If you're heading out to the lake Saturday, I wouldn't cancel my plans, but just be alert in case there is a storm, an isolated storm that pops up. You may need to briefly delay any outdoor projects as we could see a brief shower. But notice Sunday's trending a little bit drier there, especially as we go into the afternoon. So that's what we're going to be watching for this weekend. A lot of events coming up, including the Strawberry Festival. And again, not a total washout, but do plan for that chance for scattered showers and storms. And the same for if you're traveling over to Tuscaloosa for Alabama's graduation there on Friday and going into this weekend. But next week looks like this pattern is going to continue into Monday. Look, we went lower on the rain chance for Tuesday and next week, but it looks like highs staying in the 80s. But meteorologist Tania Michelle joining us now for a look at the weather calendar. And Tania, you and I were talking about this. You know, you really this time of the year, it takes getting in close to these events to really lock in on exactly where some of these showers could pop up.
Yeah, especially when we're trying to time out exactly when you can expect it, like Wes is saying. So for this weekend, if you want to have plans or if you're trying to make some, keep checking in as we approach at least Friday for Saturday's forecast and Saturday for Sunday's forecast. But looking at that first alert weather calendar, there's still a possibility, even as we bring in May the 4th, May the 4th be with you. I'll tell you what will be with you, that possibility for scattered showers and storms. That's going to carry into your Sunday. Sunday does look a lot drier for the morning time, but that timing can still change too. We're still several days out until Sunday, so check in for updates. Well, looks like that wet weather carries into the first full week of May, May 6th, May 7th, looking dry for the 8th and 9th, with returning rain chances as we end the week next week, Friday and Saturday. And maybe some showers around just after Mother's Day, but that's May the 13th, hoping for a dry Mother's Day. We'll continue to give you forecast updates as the days lead up to the rest of the month, of course. But you're watching First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back here after the break.
We've been getting in some weather photos on the First Alert weather app. Little morning fog in Coosa County this morning.
Hey, there's that fog we were talking about.
And then it goes away and you got some spring sunshine in Nectar. Just a beautiful day. And I think Willow right there was loving it. He was making sure his flowers were getting enough sun, waiting on maybe a shower. And then I say this one especially for Tania because I know she loves cicadas. So we wanted to get in a little close-up of the eyeballs. Just for you, Tania. I knew you would love that.
Outer world.
Yeah.
You know, I think that thing hitchhiked in on that asteroid we were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. It's kind of like how roaches have been around since the dinosaurs. Like, you know, cicadas, they have. I'm sorry to report. So.
Yeah, it's really incredible though how many years before they emerge. But I know it's been a big story, but it's begun. Yeah, you'll want to hear the cicadas.
So watch out, Tania.
I am. I'm watching. He's watching me too. Have a good night.